Hello guys and welcome to Stretford Paddock, Manchester United 4, Newcastle United 1. I am Alex, I'm joined with Adam and Freddie. That wasn't that bad, was it?
It wasn't. I think the scoreline flattered us a little bit, if we're being honest. I think there were long periods of the game where we didn't look exactly like we were on an even footing, but we got the job done. And I think the reason that we got the job done is because now we have Ronaldo in this side. There are so many difference makers in this team. There's so many big game players that can step up and make a difference when it counts. And I think that's what we saw today.
I think that kind of got summed up in the third goal. We'll go through all the goals at some point, but the third goal I think summed that up perfectly, because you had someone went to Mason, someone went to Ronaldo, you had three of them crowding around Cristiano Ronaldo, and all of a sudden Bruno Fernandes got loads of space at the edge of the box and then does what he does very, very well and puts it in the top corner, which I just think summed up the fact that you can't mark all of them.
Mate,
you have to do something.
You can't do what you used to do against United, which is back before Bruno, Pogba was our only creative attacking player. We relied on Pogba in order to start attacks, which is mental, because none of our other players were creative like that. And it was so easy to mark Pogba out of the game. And after the match, he wouldn't do anything because he had two players on him at all times. And everyone would go, oh, he's shit, he's rubbish. And it's like, well, what did you expect him to do? He's the only creative outlet. But now you can't do that. Because if you put two people on Pogba, that leaves Fernandes free. You put someone on Fernandes, it leaves Ronaldo free. You put someone on Ronaldo, it leaves Sancho free. Those are four big players that can turn a game on its head. And we haven't seen that at Old Trafford in a long time. And it's exciting.
Completely agree. Going back to the first half, Adam, we were a bit worried because for the first 45 minutes we couldn't break Newcastle down. They had a couple of chances.
You know what? I wasn't, because, I mean, if you ignore the first goal going into the end of the first half, we had 72% possession. I think it was a matter of time before we did get that first goal, and you know, to get it just before half time is perfect. But you know, we tried with the crosses, it wasn't really working. We tried playing a couple of long balls through to Ronaldo and Bruno, wasn't really working. So we kept at it, and eventually we got our reward with Greenwood creating the chance for Ronaldo.
Fantastic. I'm just gonna. The audio, apparently there's a couple of comments saying the audio is not quite synced up, but our producer Cam will be looking into that. Going on to Ronaldo, obviously the big story today was Cristiano Ronaldo returning. He got his start, which is a few people doubting that he was going to start and maybe on the bench. What did you make of his overall performance? Obviously got the 2 goals, but what did you make of him as a 90 minutes? What did you make of Cristiano Ronaldo?
No, I wasn't that impressed, to be honest with you, mate. You know, he's only banging in 2 incredibly crucial goals at vital moments in the game. You know, I thought there was a lot of steam for him. Mate, he was brilliant. This is what we've needed. And it's part of the reason why Cavani has worked for us and why we've always looked best when he's been a centre forward. Look, Martial is not your, you know, box to box, you know, poacher in the 18-yard box that will make those movements. The first goal from Cristiano Ronaldo is a classic striker's instinct goal. He comes in, and let's be fair, 99 times out of 100, that's an easy save that's being made. But Ronaldo has the tenacity and drive to play for the 1 out of 100 times when the goalkeeper spills it, and that's why we get the first goal. And
that's why he scored 700 goals in his career, because you're not going to score 700 worldies. You're going to score a couple that are like the first one he had today, where he's anticipated and got the goal.
And the second goal, absolutely fantastic. Makes a great run. Fantastic first touch just to take it away from the defender, and then blasts it.
And our man Freddie Woodman just couldn't deal with it.
Fuck, mate, straight through his legs. He's had a murder, that keeper today, hasn't he? But the thing is it's not been well placed, but it's been hit with such power and force that it's going to give the goalkeeper something to do. Now, as it turns out, who'd have thought Freddie Woodman, that prestigious name in goalkeeping, was a bit shit. But that was all that was needed. And these these are as well. Let's not sleep on the fact that these are two crucial goals. The first goal comes at a time when we haven't looked great during the first half, but it unlocks Newcastle and completely changes the complexion of the second half. And the second goal comes just after some horrific United defending. Just when we think they're going to sit back again. So two big goals.
Let's get onto that a bit. Newcastle did obviously equalise to take it to 1-1, and it was a bit of a comedy of errors. It started off. It was in their the left corner almost, our right wing almost, right by the corner flag. They kind of clear it.
That pass shouldn't be going through from what was right in their corner. It was a clearance pass, whatever. It went through a number of players and ended up with one of theirs. And then
you had Luke Shaw who tucked over and he dives in, completely gets taken out of the game. You then have Harry Maguire coming and for as much as we've got to put a bit of blame on Harry Maguire, not his usual thing to do there of just fly in and completely get taken out of the game. And then all of a sudden there's a 2v1 with Rafael Varane. They go past him and the lad finishes it well, to be fair. But
for me personally, Harry Maguire is the reason why we concede that goal.
Yeah,
because Luke Shaw tries to win it back high up the pitch and he doesn't, right? But then Harry Maguire can see that. He knows where Luke Shaw is, which is a mile away from where he should be. And Harry Maguire lunges in anyway, completely misses the ball, doesn't even get the man. And it's like, if you're going to do it, get the man and take the yellow. And the goal ends up coming from where Shaw should have been. And it's just one of those where it's just like, why did you do that?
No, he didn't need to
There's
dive
no
in.
need to do that. No. Just be a bit more mature in how you handle this game. Now's not the time to fly in. We're 1-0 up.
No, and so we end on the positive. There was the talk before the game who was going to play in midfield. We obviously had McTominay out injured. There was Fred. All the issues around Fred this week, whether he was going to be able to play or not. He was able to play, ended up not playing or even coming on. We had Nemanja Matic. I didn't think he had the worst game defensively, but I think there's the problems with him going forward a little bit. I think he showed his age a little bit. And I think the more frustrating thing was there was a couple of times where he didn't just bring that player down, didn't just take the yellow card, which I've mentioned. Fernandinho does that every single week, it seems like, and gets that one. Fabinho does that very well. Rodri does that for City. You've also got Ndidi that'll do that little foul. We didn't do that enough today. But we're not going to talk about the negatives because United won 4-1. Second goal for Cristiano Ronaldo. The third goal, we did mention before that, there's a chance today that the British media and all the media kind of phrase this and go, yeah, Ronaldo's back, but that means that Bruno lad's not going to play well anymore.
They'll always try and find something.
And they'll always try and
And we was saying it literally 2 minutes before his goal, didn't we?
But what a finish. What a finish.
Out of nowhere. I think realistically, them 2 goals were out of the blue. They probably didn't, like you said, the scoreline flattered us.
Yeah.
But, like we said, we have players going to Ronaldo, doubling up on Greenwood. Create the space for Bruno. And of course he's going to absolutely smash it.
It's a quality finish, top corner. And again, that's what you want out of these guys. We said that before. You were saying that during the game, Freddie, that there's going to be that argument that says, is Ronaldo going to be the star man, and that means that Bruno's not going to do it. As long as we win games and one of them does it every week, we're happy, aren't we?
Yeah.
If we win games full stop, it doesn't matter for me.
You can't have 4 people all step up to be the star man every single week. You'll have some days where it's one person's turn and other days where it's other people's turn. It's no biggie. As long as we find a way to win with these players, who cares who the star person is? And I think as well, there's enough about Fernandes that he's not an ego. I mean, we've seen in the past him not take penalties to give other players a chance to get on the score sheet and to square goals that look like easy tap-ins so that his teammates can be lifted. He's not a selfish person. And I think that's kind of what makes Bruno special. Going back to what you were saying about the midfield, I mentioned before that I think Matic and Pogba as a midfield two bring out the worst in each other. And I think you saw that at certain points today. It did flatter us a bit, the scoreline, but I also need to hold my hands up and say I have given a fair amount of stick to Martial and Lingard. I still don't think, hand on heart, I still don't think that Lingard is good enough to be a regular player at Old Trafford. But I will hold my hands up. It was a really great goal, and it was dead nice to see him prove his doubters wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like, I like watching him do well, even if I don't necessarily believe in him.
He's a great player to bring on because he will run at plays. He's got the legs to, worry an already tired Newcastle starting 11. So, and I called it first half. I thought we should have come on if it was still, tight towards the end of the game. Come on.
He did the job.
Did the job. And again, Martial. I thought Martial played well against Wolves when he came on as a sub. And again, he done it today. His movement was better than it was against Southampton. The little fake shimmy,
the little step over his goal.
To be fair, they've both combined there.
Yeah, of course.
And made a really nice goal. And again, I as much as I slag United players off sometimes if they're not playing well, I still want to see them play well. I want to see them prove me wrong. Yeah. Again, I still think, for me, I'm not convinced on Lingard long term, but I think he scored a black goal and he looked good when he came on. So I'll be rooting for more of the same. I want him to prove me wrong.
Absolutely, and it was a quality goal. You've seen the interplay between Pogba, between Donny, and then through Martial, and then Jesse Lingard turns and a quality finish. He was, again, that's all you can ask for a lad coming on. He's still got a finish in him. That's one thing that you never doubt Jesse Lingard in him. He can finish. You've seen he scored goals for England. He scored goals for West Ham. And hopefully he gets a couple for Man United. I think he could be important, maybe in the cup competitions, maybe in the Carabao Cup, maybe in the FA Cup, and all that kind of stuff. TV, I'll sort that. No problems. TV's not going to go off. Need to make sure it doesn't. Press the button to keep it on. There we go. We're all right. TV's on. No problems. Having a look at the stats there. 21 shots for Manchester United, 12 for Newcastle United. It is as to be expected. Did anyone see this game going any different? It was always going to be how it was.
We knew what was going to happen with Newcastle. Yeah. They're going to turn up. They're going to defend like their lives depended on it. Yeah. And they're going to make it difficult for us. And they're going to try and hit us on the break. That's exactly what happened. You don't need a crystal ball to see how Newcastle are going to play, because that's how they always play. They don't show ambition against bigger teams. They just don't. Now, in terms of how that affected us, I mean, you mentioned to Adam, were you surprised at the first half? Were you worried at any point? I think it played out exactly as we would have expected it to.
Totally.
And I think we were in control for large parts of the game.
I think if even we'd have went in at 0-0 half time, I still wouldn't have been too worried, because it didn't change much from the 1-0 for the first maybe 10 minutes, apart obviously the Newcastle goal. They still sat back. They still kept 10 players behind the ball. So eventually it came. And
there were a couple of points though where you looked at it and you were like, Christ, if Newcastle had better players that had more awareness of the people around, if they just squared that ball into the box or didn't take that extra touch, they could have caused us problems. But overall it is what it is. And even you could see in the 70th minute or whatever, when we were 2-1 up and we were attacking, they were applying no pressure. We mentioned there was one point when Varane and Maguire were literally 30 yards away from their goal. That's
to the
how much
goal,
they were being
it?
pressed. And they just didn't seem to want to change the game. No, they seemed happy to play it out at that narrative, even if it meant them getting beat 4-1.
Yeah. Manu fan 81 has put a super chat in. Thank you very much. Not a huge fan of Jesse, but what a loyal servant. That's one thing you can't doubt about him. He's come back in, went and played at West Ham. He's come back. Whether he wants to stay, whether the deal didn't turn out, you get what you're going to get from Jesse Lingard. You're not going to see him drop his shoulders. You're going to see him work hard, and he scored a very good goal today. There's been a bit of a topic of discussion in the comments, and one we've got to bring up. Jadon Sancho today, I thought, in the first half especially, and in the second half at times, was very good. I don't think he got his assist that he probably maybe deserved. I think he was probably our best player for most of the game.
I think first 60 minutes, he looked like our best attacking creative outlet. We mentioned that for the first part of the game, before Bruno scored that worldie, he hadn't had his best game. Now, when you say that about Bruno, you've got to remember that the man has ridiculously high standards. So, you got to take him not playing the best with a pinch of salt. But Jadon Sancho was making things happen. And I think when we took him off, it coincided with a bit of a stale point where we took a little while to readjust to not having that dynamism. And I think that that's a great sign going forward that he's going to be a special player for us.
We did mention before the game, didn't we, that it will take him, a few games, we thought, to slowly get into the way United play, because he's been at Borussia Dortmund since, how old was he?
17, 18 when he moved.
Especially at a young age, your mind's a sponge, innit? You're drilled into a certain system. So to get out of that system into the United system, he's done it quite well today, I thought.
It's going to be different. I do think there's a bit about fitness as well. I think one of the things
Definitely.
I don't think he's fully fit in terms of not up to the scratch. You saw what Ollie did when Ollie first came into this team and Ollie took over. He said how poor the fitness was at Manchester United. So you don't quite know what the levels are like in the German league. He may not need to be as fit as he was. And you've seen as well, Jadon Sancho is one of them players that kind of has in the past dropped off in summers and things like that and not come back fully fit. He's not your Ronaldos of this world, and that's not a dig. He's just not that kind of person that is naturally maybe one of the fittest, so maybe has to do a bit more work. But so you may see a couple of weeks until you get him back.
If you chuck him in straight away and expect him to start every single game and he doesn't hit the ground running, then what happens is knobheads go online and go, can't believe we paid £73 million for this.
And he's not an assist yet.
Exactly, and he's not even scored or assisted. And more of that builds up to the point where scoring or assisting becomes almost like this monkey that you've got to get off your back. Do you know what I mean? You've got to shake it off you, and it can really affect a player's confidence.
And Jadon Sancho isn't that spam crosses in. He isn't that direct going to score and shoot every game. He's intricate passes, loads of 1-2s, and he did that well today.
And he's 21 as well?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? He's still a really young lad, and it's an awful lot of pressure to put on somebody at that age. So I think Ollie's doing as much as it's frustrating for us, because you want to see your signings come in, and you want to play with your new toys, don't you? Mm-hmm. It's the right thing to do is to take some pressure off that young lad and just let him ease into playing football. He's doing the right thing.
Yeah, we've also got a super chat from Chris. Thank you very much. It's great that Ronaldo scored a brace, but don't forget that Pogba has already had 7 Premier League assists, which is a bit mad in 4 games, isn't it? It's a ridiculous stat for Paul Pogba.
It is. Yeah, we did say that, a couple of his passes, the 2 today, really, one was a pass. You got to be there, haven't you? You got to be in the right place. And the other was a night, you could argue that Martial should have got the assist for the Lingard goal. Yeah. But, what is it, 7 in
4 games. He's looked good. I think, go on.
With the Pogba goal, with the Lingard goal, Pogba still beats 3 men.
Quality.
But with the Bruno thing, it's like, mate, you didn't really do any work there. You weren't really instrumental.
No.
But, I mean, what's the record in a season? Is it 20?
Something. I think that was De Bruyne one that I think got 20 or Fabregas or something.
So he's a third of the way there after 4 games?
It is absolutely scary.
But again, that goes back to the point of stat padding, and is it all about assists for Pogba?
Yeah.
You got to look at his personal goals. What would he want from this season?
Yeah.
I think already he's got a good start. I think, although some are just short passes, this will give him confidence for the rest of the season, I think, because got to remember as well, he played on the left wing first 2 games.
He's then dropped into midfield.
And now he's dropped into the midfield. He's still got 2 assists. It's looking positive.
And the good thing is to get that many assists, it means we've scored a decent amount of goals in the first few games as well, which is also a very big thing, to get goals in. We've scored 9 goals at home already this season. Yes, we've had 1 goals away from home, but to score 9 goals at home in your first 2 games is always a good thing to see. Super chat here from Lord Brady. The Ronaldo signing might be fantastic for Sancho, as without it, the media would have been on him every single performance to take the spotlight away. Yeah. Completely agree.
Yeah, and it's weird because United players are put under a scrutiny by the English media, especially English United players are put under scrutiny under the media that other teams don't get. And I'm not just talking about it because United's a big club or whatever, but if you look at, for example, Kai Havertz at Chelsea, who is, I watch a fair bit of Bundesliga, and I was jealous as fuck when Chelsea got him, because I think he's a baller, but he's 98 million or whatever. Now, his first season, he took a long time to settle, but the knives didn't come out anywhere near. There was a little bit, but if that had been, if Sancho has the season that Kai Havertz had his first season at Chelsea, it'll be all over, everywhere.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think the same thing as well. I think results make a big difference. I think that there's players that have made big mistakes. If you look at if this game had been finished 1-1 today, and was a couple of seasons ago, the blame on Harry Maguire, which would have been right in a lot of the case, would have been ridiculous. But I think City have had players have individual mistakes in the past. Liverpool have had times when they've made mistakes. But when you win the game 4-1, it doesn't matter. It's a mistake. It's an individual mistake in the game. Yes, it's cost us a goal, but we've got the players to bail us out of it. We've got the 4 goals today. We've played some very good football, and you can't be worried. You can't be too worried.
Like I said, I think 4-1 flattens us a little bit, to be honest with you. And I think there were times when Newcastle were in it, and it felt like they shouldn't be. For example, there was a long period at 2-1 where it just felt like we were just setting ourselves up for a draw here before Bruno stepped up to the plate and smashed that third one in. And I think that it's one of those, it's like you say, it's a results business, isn't it? And it's so easy to take a different result out of this and it'd be a completely different conversation that we're having. But at the end of the day, man, a win's a win.
Top of the league.
Top of the league right now.
Top of the league at the moment, which is, people saying we've had a bit of a shaky start. Yes, we had a poor performance against Southampton. Poor against.
Still getting points from it.
You've done that. You've got the points.
Do you know what's funny though is you have a poor game against Wolves and you win. You do that third game of the season and people go, "Oh, Man United don't look very good this year." You do that same performance and get the win in April and people go, "That's what title winners do. They grind out results when they ain't playing well." So you've got to put things into perspective.
And this was the thing, is that you watched Liverpool play when they won the league and they were worse than the season before when they came second. But they got more results that were... they got 1-0 in the last minute kick of the game. They got one where they didn't deserve it. They got the Everton game where Pickford dropped it off the bar and they've got that goal. Those things weren't happening the season before. And that's all it takes. It takes a couple of good performances and it takes the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo to pull us out of it again today, score a couple of goals, get us in the game. Addy's got a super chat in there. Individual mistakes cost us a lot against big teams. You're right. You can't do what you did today against the big teams, but this team has had a day training together with the likes of Ronaldo. Varane hasn't had too many times together. Sancho has been in and around it, hasn't trained too much. This team's only going to grow. You've got the young boys game in the week to then step up to. You've then got to go out and do it again against West Ham. The start of this season wasn't that difficult. We're going to have a lot coming up. We're going to have the big games. I think there's a run in October where you play everyone.
But I think we play better against those teams.
Yeah, definitely.
I think I would much rather... I feel more confident watching United playing against, a team that will come out and attack them than I do against those teams that sit with a low block and just frustrate us. Because make no mistake, last year, this could have easily ended 1-1.
Yeah, and there's games like this that did end 1-1 last year.
Shows progress, and we can't say any worse than that, can you?
No, absolutely. Guys, Adam, where can people find you?
You can find me at The Back Post on YouTube. Search it. It's good.
Fantastic. I'm Freddie.
I have a podcast called Pigoted, Pigoted. You can find it on Spotify or iTunes or YouTube. It's comedians talking to experts about bollocks, basically. Not actual bollocks, just random stuff.
But probably at one point you'll probably have a video on bollocks.
Yeah, we already have covered that about the reproductive organs of animals. Do you know female ducks have maize vaginas? So they have vaginas that are made of muscles that can contract to form a maze to stop ducks jizzing in them. Anyway,
there you go. Absolutely brilliant.
Viva Ronaldo.
If you like these t-shirts that we're wearing, make sure you are checking out paddockmerch.com. Use the code Paddock20. Get 20% off when you buy 2 items. Thank you very much to Freddie. Thank you very much to Adam. We will have fan cams, all that good stuff out very, very shortly. Make sure you're liking this video. Make sure you're subscribing, and we will see you in the next one. Laters.